Is it on yet?
And Gailey's gonna sit there.
Is this
We
it?
gotta do it one time where we're all
Welcome.
doing a tableau.
Yeah. Welcome to the second episode of our adventures through the fantastical world of Thrayne. Tonight is the 16th of February. Quick announcement: we have upcoming this Saturday will be the next episode of Straterra, Saturday morning. What is it? 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And next week in this time slot at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the next episode of Shooting the Crit, which is our D&D talk show. Runs about an hour or so. Tons of fun. Please come and join us. We had some great interaction from the chat last time.
We had a blast last time.
We did. We really
Good
did.
stuff.
So, unless anybody else has any additional announcements, we'll roll our super good, amazing trailer. All right. And jump right on into the story.
We have a
That was-
trailer.
Yeah, it's already run. You missed it.
Dang it!
I know.
It's D&D.
It's the shortest long scroll you've ever seen. Literally,
Yeah.
it's just comes up from the bottom and says, "And now D&D," and then it goes.
I need that in my life.
Yeah.
Now for something completely different.
Indeed.
Oh, it got dark.
It should not. There we go. Quick fix. So, your first evening as a troop together has passed. The short adventure through the Skima woods and the encounter with the Drakekin, the hunting draconic reptilian predators that you encountered that seemed to camouflage themselves into the woods. Recovering a single pearl from them of unknown value. You
That's super
continue.
pretty.
Very, very pretty. Continuing on, you ventured into the woods with your new traveling friend, Telfin Teclis, a traveling merchant from Cinderfall, the volcanic island in the middle of the Eshman Sea. As the morning rises, the sun coming up in the distance, Selu wandering about on their watch. Selu, the events of the night, that strange creature you saw in the wee hours of the morning, the large wolfen creature with strange horn-like protrusions out of its head. Never seen anything like it, and kind of sticks in your mind as the morning rounds and you see it as time to rouse your friends.
Selu would have been doing a lot of staring off into things as the morning breaks. If anybody else was early to rise, they might see them take a moment, gauge the wind, seem to give it a sniff, and then would begin making the rounds of waking everyone up. Good morning! It's time to be awake. Let's go, everyone! Rise and shine!
Mist would be well conditioned to an early morning routine of being woken up, but seeing as there are significantly less chores to do with this group as there were with his previous group, he just looks around and then pops out a puzzle box and just starts going to town on it.
Pack a
Awesome.
Rubik's Cube with you? That's amazing.
Jubei would have been up. Had his morning meditations, went through a couple of katas. Was right now he would be against the flattish rock, basically cracking eggs and flour and a little bit of water and mixing campfire dough together. I would have kept the fire stoked, but the coals warm for something he has planned.
Awesome. And climbing out of the wagon, very groggily, your gray-skinned companion with his goatee just every which way at this point in the morning. Oh, you're a morning person. Lovely. Mm. Is there coffee on yet? Oh, that's my job. And he turns back into the cabin and in the wagon, produces a kettle and some grinds, and begins the morning coffee.
Let me know when that coffee's done. I'll be over here. And Selu, like realizing that Jubei has been awake, being terrible at a person on watch, apparently having been distracted by other things, walks over and would just be like over Jubei's shoulder, like, "What are you doing? What are you making? Last night was delicious."
I am making some treats. I don't have enough supplies for more than two. Sad to say, but maybe after we visit the village, Skima, I can pick up more. But these are road snacks for my two friends.
What sort of things do you need? The forest provides quite a lot, if you know where to look.
Nothing right now that we can find in the woods. I can say that.
Well, fair
And
enough.
looking up just briefly from the puzzle box, Miss, I have more crumbs if you need them.
So, and what you see is basically he's worked the flour and eggs and a little bit of water into a dough, and he smashed it flat into two circles. And from, I believe we had rum the night before, he would be taking slices of peaches and pear and like dipping it in the rum and laying it inside and folding it together, and then taking his claws and poking holes, or his little talons and poking holes in the top and digging into the hot ash and placing the buns inside.
All right, my dude, I'm gonna need you to
Is it
stop
hot?
because I haven't
Is it
eaten
hot in
yet.
Whew.
This is why I eat before these games.
Yeah, food we ordered
This
is
is-
still coming.
This is what I get for having made dinner downstairs and left it to not eat until later. Yeah.
Jubei cooks.
Hashtag
Yeah.
Jubei cooks.
But does he know about
Uh,
second breakfast?
Second breakfast. Reese
So
will get up,
bas-
and his hair looks like the goatee of the dude. It's just sticking up in all directions, and he looks like shit because he drank way too much. All of that, he had to keep Selu away from it, but also like it was pretty good. And he like ties it all back, and just like looks like the worst morning person, like absolutely hates life.
Finally, something
just
that's
sits
not
near the fire.
average about him. The worst. You're the worst at something. You're the most of something.
The worst at morning.
Hey,
There's no
Kai's-
moon in the morning.
Kai is probably tending to the horses, getting them fed, including Mist. So, wait, what was your horse's name again? Was it
Mystic.
Mystic.
Mystic. We need to
Pony.
feeding because we have two Mists.
Dude, that's
We
fine.
have two Mists.
That's
Kai's not awake yet. Got a little
As
confused.
a horse bag, like a feeding bag. on his face.
He's just working the puzzle box with a feedback.
and he's somehow okay with this.
This is fantastic service. I could get used to these.
That's the
He
reason I did
occasionally
the
just tips it up.
fat potbelly pony token for Mystic.
after a few moments of bubbling and brewing, the kettle that Telfin had placed in the fire, he seems to have collected himself and produced a small bit of grease from a tin and straightened out his goatee and shaped it. And gonna lick the eyebrows back and call it a day.
Stylish.
Does anyone else require coffee?
I'm not
it
quite
is a-
sure what this coffee is, but it smells amazing.
I too am curious. We do not have that where I come from.
You're familiar with tea?
Yes.
Hi.
It's-
Yeah,
it-
tea.
It is similar. It's a bean ground down and strained through hot water.
So it's bean soup.
Yes.
Oh no, this argument.
I'll tell you what. Then he goes back and
Like, he's
collects the
offended.
tins that he had used the night before to provide the mead to everyone. And rinses them all out in a spare water skin and brings around everyone a cup of black as night coffee.
Mist will refuse his and say, I appreciate it, but the troop told me I have enough energy as is.
He takes yours, pours it back in his cup. Suit yourself.
Sailor would like give it a sniff, taste it, bitter, sets it back down. A few minutes later, picks it up again, gives it a taste.
This sounds familiar.
Continues to like make a face, but just can't seem to like stop themselves from continuing to try it in hopes that it gets better.
This is familiar from your first session.
Yeah, I have no idea why. It's fine. This is fine.
Reese, being the morning person, is like, this is great. Do you have more of this?
A bit. They grow it in Iona. Not quite sure how or why, but we get it from time to time.
Never been there before, but worth it.
Kai sips his, makes a face, and he like holds it out to Navara, and she like sniffs it and goes, and then now it's covered in like horse drool, and then I just kind of flick it off to the side.
There. Stevie notices. Nope.
Oh no.
Not enough coffee
At this
yet.
point, Telfin is packing up his bedroll. Well, I believe, have another day of travel ahead of us.
I have a quick question before we break camp. If I may, I did spot something a bit interesting last night. It didn't seem dangerous, but I just left it be on its own. But
Wasn't another one of those drakes, was it?
no, some form of. It was a very large white wolf, but with elk-like antlers. It was unlike anything I have seen. Quite odd. Does that ring a bell to anyone at all? I have a sketch, and like goes and grabs the book,
Oh, snap.
and like pulls it out, and like it's serviceable probably, but like not
I was really
not
excited.
a
I thought he was an
terrible artist, but like you get the gist of what they got going
Fair
on.
enough. Would I know, Gabe? Have I heard the stories about this?
Anyone
Folk tales or
proficient
anything?
in history
I am.
may make a
Not.
roll.
Did not take that one.
No, sir.
Yes, this thing looks like me, but as a wolf instead of a human. And that is an 11.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
More antlers than horns, but sure.
I'm sure we are called beast all the same.
You search back through your mind in the brief times you've had access to books, but mostly oral tales and histories and legends being shared in villages you have passed through. This doesn't strike a chord. Seems quite odd. Why would a wolf have antlers?
Strange. It doesn't seem like you would use them very much. He has teeth.
So,
It was-
was it the deer or was it the wolf?
It was a weir.
Or a dolph?
I like you. This is clever.
I like you.
Well, whatever it was beautiful. It didn't seem to be problematic. I was just curious what it was.
They may know more in the village once we arrive. Calling it a village is very strange.
Sure.
Skima grows this time of year. It's relatively small the rest of the year, but
I'm assuming because of the festival, yes?
yes.
It makes sense.
If you look around at all while you say it was beautiful nonetheless, you would see Mist eyes kind of sparkle like the anime eyes of like looking of longing at someone.
I am sad I missed it.
I didn't.
May as well.
I didn't want to wake anyone, but maybe we'll see it again. Actually, while you all break camp, I think I'm going to go look where it was watering. I'll be right back. And whether there's anything to find or not, I don't know. But Selu would head over, actually breaking away from the camp now that others are awake, and go to check the area where they saw it.
Okay.
Just look for tracks or signs or just anything about it.
Understood. Jubei?
Jubei would be attentively staring at the ash, waiting for steam to rise up out of all 6 holes on each. And once it does, he will take just his claws, making sure not to touch with his fingers, and pull them out of the ash, using his claws as tongs.
That's awesome.
And
Built-in
brushing
tools.
brushing the ash off, and he'll wrap each one in a little bit of cloth, and I will go over to Mist and my other friend, Reese. I had enough supplies for these. Save these during the day, and as we travel, and they should keep. And as you eat them, they should fill you with a little bit more resolve. And I give one to each.
I appreciate this.
He smells
So-
delightful, Jubei Shoshun. He just
And
wraps it up and tucks it away and
they-
goes back to
they-
his fuzzy watch.
They have no names. Where I come from, my family lovingly called them Juby Snacks.
Oh no!
You couldn't resist
So-
it. You just couldn't.
It's right there.
Adding that to my notes.
Low hanging fruit.
So basically, from the chef's skill, I made cooked treats, and once you eat these, it takes a bonus action to eat. The effect lasts for 8 hours, and it gives you +2 temporary hit points. And I can only make as many as my proficiency bonus, so I can only make 2
Right.
For now.
for now.
Selu. Wandering away from the fire over to the small watering hole that you saw, there are tracks that are fairly familiar. Simple wolf tracks. Nothing different about them in any way.
Any brushings anywhere of like a tuft of hair that got caught on anything as they were going about, or any kind of like markings or leavings of any kind?
Make a survival check for me.
I believe that is an 18. Double check real fast. Yes, 18.
You're able to find a small little tuft of fur. It's difficult to tell if this was from the creature the night before or not, but it is kind of a white-gray fur on a nearby branch.
Sure. If I don't see any other like shared tracks that look like there was a lot of traffic, which I was awake, so I probably would have noted if there was, then I will keep the tuft of fur and return back to the camp. Help break and set up.
From his wagon, Tophin climbs out. Oh, don't suppose Tony? Still am not completely sure that was his name. But he won't be needing these. Any interest? And
Well,
he
I certainly hope it's his name. We put it on his gravesite.
produces some additional rations and hands them out to the lot of you. There are 4 additional rations, days of rations.
Jubei sniffs at him, and is kind of put off by him.
It's straight up Western tack and biscuit.
Hey, there's still people that are eating the Civil War tack.
Well, that's better than my 0 rations, so I'll take it.
This is what those crumbs look like before they became crumbs.
Yes. Sure, maybe. Makes sense. Is everyone prepared to get on the road?
Selu pops over, grabs a little travel biscuit, sits down real quick, like it's still hanging out of their mouth, and takes the tuft of fur, opens the book back up to the page where the drawing was, like sticks the fur in, and closes everything back up, binds it. Yep, ready when you are.
Absent-mindedly, while everybody's getting ready, Jubei will realize that he was very forgetful preparing these snacks, and I will very quickly take out my knife and cut thin slices of the pork belly to make makeshift bacon for them to eat with their breakfast biscuits.
Sounds good.
Bacon.
Breakfast biscuits.
Kai, how are you preparing for your day?
After I'm done with the horses, I'm probably just kind of mounted on Navara and like waiting for everyone else.
Okay. Being the tail end of winter heading into spring, there's a chill in the morning, that kind of bluish tealist mist, not mist, but mist, that hung over the road the night before is still present. It's a bit more dense as you get onto the road, leading Mystic and Tulfin's wagon, Navara, and all the pedestrians as well. And begin down the road, continuing further west towards the town of Skima.
Mist would try to take his place on the bench again, next to Telfin, and just continue working on the puzzle box.
Go ahead and roll your investigation check for the puzzle box today.
A 16 on the die, plus 5, 21.
Okay.
Ooh, it's an interesting Rubik's Cube.
That's my third check on it. But the only one that's been above a 15, I believe.
First one was an 18.
Oh, never mind. I did well when I started.
Got some help.
From a genius child.
Right?
Yeah.
Children are the best.
Going back to child labor, right?
Classic.
Yeah. So, last time I believe Selu rolled for us. Who would like to roll for this next leg of our journey?
I will if nobody else wants to.
I'm
Awesome.
happy
Go
to
ahead and roll.
help or go for it. However,
Go ahead and roll a d20 for me, Kai.
15. No modifiers.
No, just a
Yep,
straight
15.
d20. 2 or 3 hours into your journey, a slow, easy journey for the cart and wagon in your company. Moving your way down the road. Moving your way down the road as the mist begins to clear in the warmth of the day, it begins to get warmer, considerably warmer. As if this part of the forest is changing seasons ahead of the rest. Selu, this is very, very familiar for you. Growing up in the Terran, this incredibly southbound forest that would ordinarily be covered in snow and ice the majority of the year. These warm pockets of thermal activity, keeping the area more warm and more temperate than the rest of the area around them. As ahead of you on the road, there is a stone pillar, slightly cocked, sticking out of the ground.
does this look familiar to the one that I found whenever Kai and I met?
Difficult to tell at this distance. And everyone sees this pillar, old weather-worn pillar, sticking kind of at an angle up out of the ground.
Is it along
How
the
tall
road
is
or
it?
off the road?
Close enough to the road, like not in the middle
Mhm.
by any means, but close enough to the road that it's very, very evident that it is there. This one is about 30 to 40 feet tall. Looks maybe 5-ish feet around.
I'll be right back.
I'm gonna.
And Saley will just trot off.
I want to go.
Head
I
straight
want to go
toward
with
it.
him. I like throw the reins at Jubei for Mystic.
Juve's already
And-
gone. He's wandered off in the opposite direction of the forest, just looking around.
I'm like,
Still in
Mist,
search of
Mist,
apples.
take Mystic for you. Just
Wait, why did you throw these things at me?
hold on to it for me. Just a moment.
See, like a look of almost just like sadness.
You don't even
Tucks
have to
the-
really hold it.
Okay.
Just like take it around your wrist and just keep going.
At this point, Selu is 40 feet down the road.
I try to catch up.
Jubei, as you are skirting around outside of the road, wandering through the woods, enjoying the scenery, you see a large worked block of stone sitting in the forest. Just a big piece of granite or marble or another worked stone, as if it was a building block of some kind, just sitting there in the forest.
Looking around, see if I can find an apple tree, any wild potatoes or mushrooms, and when I get up to the worked stone, I kind of look at it and very loudly take the glaive. Cling, cling!
Okay.
Just go back and like taking the rusted blade of the glaive and kind of digging a little bit in the dirt.
Okay. You are able to find a larger assortment of food than you would ordinarily find. As looking down the road, you see a tree with these small little yellow orbs hanging from it. Okay. Do you take
All
off down the road as you have in the past with Selu, or are you going to stick with the wagon?
Talking to me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll stick around if I see everybody else rushing off, I'll stick around to the wagon.
Stop the wagon. Scatter!
Okay. So Selu and Reese, approaching this pillar, it appears to be jutting out of the ground by itself. Nothing else around it, but the ground is very warm to the touch. Nearby, you can feel it through the soles of your boots. And you see several trees with fruit hanging from them in the ground.
So, do I recognize the fruit on the trees as anything that I would know, or does it look foreign?
Nothing too particularly exotic. My brain was going with starfruit in the moment, so
Sure. Okay.
but nothing incredibly fantastical by any means.
So, notes the fruit, but doesn't really think too much of it. More interested in the large stone plinth.
Yeah, I would be too.
Okay.
Instinctually, I'll probably walk up and put my hands on it just to like feel it.
Okay. So it feels as if it was once grooved all the way around it, much like a Roman or a Greek column, but it has been worn smooth over time. You can just feel the faintest impressions of working where there were carvings on them that are all since weather worn and lost. But here's this stone pillar, and the ground around you is, again, warm, not hot or uncomfortable, but warm.
Does it have any of like the shape or like notions to it of what I thought from the other one. If you remember, the other one you mentioned having like signs of like long ago workings that could have been Tarandine, but
Understood. No, this one, the artistry, the craftsmanship is very different. It's difficult to tell again at this point because it is so worn. But this worked piece of stone appears to be a solid piece of stone rather than bricks or components stacked upon each other that juts out of the ground as wide as your arms for about 40 feet at an angle. And pressing it, pushing up against it, it is solid. It is not moving.
Well, you don't have to worry about it falling over on us.
no, it seems quite sturdy. Have you ever seen anything quite like this?
Not really. We don't really have anything like this in Lostren.
There was another I saw when I met Kai, actually, at another Y in the road. But I don't see anything that seems to connect them in any way.
I'll probably point to the trees with the fruit.
Oh yes, no, I plan to grab a
Perhaps
few of
that is
those. I think Jubei would appreciate a little bit of fruit to go with the next meal.
It does feel a bit warmer, though, doesn't it?
Oh,
It's
does that not
strange.
happen? That's strange. Okay. Interesting.
No, it's biting. It's
just
biting cold up in Lostren.
I just assumed that happened in people's forests everywhere. Noted. Right. So where I'm from, there are pockets of this sort of thing that happen in the forest areas quite a lot. Areas of warmer climates contained within them. From what I
Is it like magic?
From what I understand, it's more influence from nearby. What did they call them?
Perhaps the Earth?
People that like books a lot more than me called them something like geothermal something or other. I forget. I don't know.
That sounds strange. It sounds like magic to me.
Something about nearby like volcanic activity or something would.
I've never seen a volcano either, so that makes sense.
Well, fair.
Jubei,
Yeah, this is
as
all
you
of my
are
league.
wandering through the woods, seeing these trees around this pillar, and you see fruit.
Oh, awesome. You said I see orange orbs.
Orange and yellow, yes.
Okay, go up and
Okay. As you pick through, you find both starfruit and oranges
okay,
along the way.
smelling them both, and making sure he's getting a basket of them. He will start taking his claws and peeling an orange, and as he walks back to the cart, and seeing as both these rocks, the ones that Selu and them saw and the one that he saw, are on a road, I'm sure they get manhandled and touched a lot. So he would just kind of bow to it. You know, once it was something important. This is more important. I just walk up eating an orange.
I'll take an armful of fruit from our little grove,
So
and then pat the pillar.
as you do that, the previously like tight wrapped clothing, Selu like takes a sleeve and like undoes it and untwines it, and it's like still attached at the wrist, but it makes like a sling, like a trough that you could hold things in, and offers that as like a means of putting fruit in there to carry it back.
Reese turns around and his giant backpack just all the pots and pans in it like jangle. It's probably a good idea.
And at this point, about this point, the wagon catches up. Dolphin pulls it up. I see we found a grove. Lovely. Little fruit for the journey.
Figured why not?
Chubei hides it. No.
No, I look at all that they've pulled and just kind of shake my head. So wasteful. No way we're gonna eat all this before it goes bad.
That'd be
Does he say that?
Yeah, like if you say that, Selu literally would like pull a piece of fruit out and start eating it immediately.
Yeah. Reese would do the same. You underestimate me.
Well, if we managed to bring back enough, we could probably sell some of it. Be one less trip into the woods that Sandy would have to take.
Who?
Sandy?
Sandy, you'll meet her. She's the proprietor of the Clever Blossom.
This be like an inn?
No, shop, I guess you would call it. It's on the step, which you don't know what that is yet, do you?
Never been.
I'll explain as we go.
This all sounds
Sandy,
entertaining and lovely.
Sandy is a bit of a grandmother to everyone. I don't actually know her name. She just tells everyone to call her Sandy. But her shop tends to deal in plants and spices, fruits, herbs, medicinal and cooking variety. She is on the second tier of... So, Skima is broken into several tiers up the cliffside of these flatter areas. And the second tier is often called the steppe. I don't rightly know why.
Well, I suppose there's only one way to find out. When we get there. Shall we go then? This Sandy sounds lovely.
Sounds like a place to go.
So, Reese, when you come back, you see that both of Mistlethar's hands are back to the puzzle box, and he's never unraveled his tail before, but you see his tail kind of swooped up to the side of him, holding with the reins looped over it, and he's just back at the puzzle box.
I will gingerly take the lead and exchange it for a fruit.
Do not touch my tail. Who are you to touch my tail? And I kind of wrap it back around like a belt. And
I didn't mean to do it. I'm sorry.
You would understand if you had a tail. And I take the fruit and kind of stash it under an arm and go like kind of lean over and start puzzle boxing again.
Don't touch his tail.
Occupied by the fruit, Selu would like hop up on the bench next to Mist, like chomping on orange wedges and just like eyeing this puzzle box like, what is this thing?
We actually have two.
No, we do.
I have another. If it would get you to stop paying attention to this one.
That's not mine.
You have another?
Yes, and you see like in all kind of one fluid motion, he opens his arm, drops the fruit into a bag, reaches his other hand into the bag as the fruit drops, grabs the puzzle box, closes his arm back up, hands you the puzzle box, and goes back to the first one.
Selu.
Smooth.
Selu like puts the piece of fruit like back into the little like sleeve pouch and starts fiddling with this puzzle box.
I want it back when you are done.
Sure. What is it? Just starts messing with it.
Hi. As the wagon and yourself and Navara get up parallel with this pillar that reaches out of the ground, out of the corner of your eye, you see a figure, hood up, and they look towards you, and you see an eye flash at you, and then the figure walks past a tree and is gone
Like in the forest.
in the forest. And this is very similar to previous experiences you have had, where you swear you see someone out of the corner of your eye.
Son of a bitch.
Is he
Okay.
dressed in yellow?
No,
Oh, no.
different campaign.
Wrong game. Wrong game. You leave that crap out of here.
Oh no.
Do I recognize this one? Have I seen this one before?
The name Aeronol comes to mind, thinking about legends and interactions with ancestral stories.
That one open yet? Okay, got it.
As
Well-
we're as we're walking down the road, even Mist and Reese wouldn't have seen Jubei do this before, but he will take the glaive and put it in the crooks of his arms and reach into his robe as he's walking and pulls out a book, like this little leather journal that just has pages ripped out of it, and he starts writing in Draconic. And so he's kind of, writing just, saw 2 interesting stones today with a grove of fruit nearby. You would have loved it. He just writes, closes it, puts it back into his robe.
Gabe, can I try talking to my hallucination?
They don't recommend that, but yeah.
Often lock people up for
How
that.
far down this rabbit hole
you are
do
certainly
you want
welcome
to
to
go?
try.
Quietly, like I'm not really like shouting at it or anything. I just want to ask, kind of absently, here to watch over me, or are you here to warn me? And then I look around again.
As you look around again, the peaceful forest lies around you. The chirping birds in the trees, and this large, strange stone pillar jutting out of the ground.
If anybody like notices me talking to myself, I'm like, pay me no mind.
I won't.
So Selu probably sat on the bench for like 2 seconds, and then hopped up with the puzzle box and like walked off back up towards the front. And as you looked away and like said something to someone, Selu would pop up and take the rest of the orange that they hadn't eaten, offer it to Navara, and then ask Navara, "Who's he talking to?" And just like looking at the puzzle box.
Do not put the orange juice on it.
Question about the puzzle box: are you actively trying to solve it?
I mean,
Or you just-
eventually I would like try and figure it out if that were a thing that I could try and do. Sure.
Okay, make an investigation check.
These puzzle boxes.
Let's see, that's a 2 on the die, so that's
Okay.
a 2.
I was going to be really
You-
mad if you did better than me.
Yeah.
Just half eating an orange, half trying to slide these pieces of wood around. You have no idea
Not a clue.
how. Like, there was one piece that you swear Mist had slid out longer than it should have been inside. Like, it just didn't make any sense. They're not moving at all. They rattle a little bit, and that's about it.
I will
That's the worst.
continue just confoundedly messing with this thing for until something else catches my attention, but just will not give up on it and just keep futzing with it.
Okay. So, unless anybody else has anything they'd like to reach out or research with this pillar or the ground around it, we'll continue on. continuing through for the rest of the morning into the afternoon. If one of you doesn't mind making one more d20 roll for me to see
I'll do it.
how the rest of this journey goes.
I like the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I just haven't done it yet. Like, roll, 18.
Okay. As the morning passes into afternoon and the warm pocket of air leaves behind you, Telfin kind of humming to himself as he is riding down the road, mostly keeping to himself, which is kind of contrary to his very outgoing personality the day before. And in the back, Reese and Mist, you hear 1, 2, 3 horses at a full gallop coming up
I'm gonna
behind
shout.
you.
Oi! We've got company.
I was making so much progress. This is a shame. And I put it down and kind of draw my short bow and just be like, "What is this?"
Can I see anything coming up?
Behind the lot of you, 3 riders. One in the lead wearing, as they get closer, very colorful, ornate garb, and 2 behind them wearing less. The third with a pole and some sort of standard flapping off of it as they come barreling through.
Is it an Ionin? Yeah, an Ionin standard.
Make a perception check for me.
Getting some Willow vibes. Out of the way, Peck!
Only a 9 on the die, so an 11.
Okay. It is hard to tell. They are moving so quickly, and the banner is fluttering so fast that it is hard to tell. Though their dress seems somewhat reminiscent of Iona. And
Okay.
as they close with the lot of you, you get a better look. They don't say anything. They don't appear to be threatening or ominous. They are just going. And as their horses break past you, you see a young man, blonde hair and goatee, into a very thin beard, dressed in finery, sword at his side. Immediately behind him is a dark-haired young man with a lot of bundles and baggage attached to his horse. And then a third very similarly dressed to the second. They're not nearly as fine as the one in the lead, carrying a standard with a bow and quiver on his back. As they go barreling past you, there's this look, but they pay you no mind as they continue on at a full gallop.
My thought is like they're being chased, so can I ride to the back and just see if I see anything coming up behind us?
Make a perception check for me.
They must be very excited about the festival, and you see me put my short bow away and kind of go back to my puzzle box.
I got a 17.
Okay. Seems to be quiet.
They didn't seem very happy to see us either. Just kept going.
It was
Nobility do not matter with caravans. We are just merchants to them.
Yes, it was like we were not even here to them.
That's typical for a lord, though.
Nobles are silly.
They're certainly in a
I give
hurry
him
about
this look.
something.
Did you say you're a knight?
Yes,
It's
a free knight
Quite
of Her Majesty's Queendom.
so you said.
The bad nobles are full of themselves.
I've met very few good ones.
There is a difference.
There's some.
We do not have these nobles where I'm from, but this treatment is familiar to me.
Wasn't very kind of them to continue on, but can't say I'm
At least they
terribly
didn't shoot us or
surprised.
anything, you know.
They certainly seemed in a hurry about something.
I will accept indifference over unkindness any day.
I will agree with that.
There's a
Maybe,
go ahead though.
Jubei, maybe one had to use the restroom and cannot stand to go in the woods.
Nobles. Ha!
I don't think I've ever seen anyone of wealth or stature drop privy in the wood, but I imagine it would be embarrassing, and I hope it happens to him soon.
Aye, me too.
Jubei speaks up and says, I've known some nobles that are not too proud not to relieve themselves when they had to.
Selu
Yeah.
is so confused by this notion that there is anything odd at all about doing any of this in the woods. That's where else would you do it?
What is the saying? Does a noble poop in the woods? Or is it a bear? I don't
I
know.
literally wrote that down as a note.
Does a noble poop in the wood?
Does a nobleman privy in the woods?
That's the episode title.
Oh, that's gonna come back around at some point.
I mean, I did just make a note, so
First time Jubei meets a noble from this land. So, can you answer a question?
But on our mind for quite a bit.
It's settle an argument for us.
while we're on the conversation of odd things,
Do you poop in the woods?
I do regularly, such as the traveling life. I've been pondering how to pose this question. I may not have participated, but I did hear the entirety of your conversations last night.
Did you enjoy my story about the two lovers?
I think he's saying we are too loud at campside. We kept him awake.
Reese gets
Really?
really serious. I think I'd appreciate it if you didn't mention these things about magic in town. Especially what we did at the roadside, or at least what I did.
I am somewhat indebted with a lot of you. Had I happened along those Drakekin by myself, I don't know that I would still be here. But just be careful.
I appreciate it.
Not everyone everywhere is as calm about such things. Unnerved as I am, having never seen anything like that, I would not think to brand you all heretics or witches by any means.
Reese immediately just shuts up, doesn't say anything else.
Just
I heard.
Are there those
Caref-
in Skima that would react this way?
who could say? There will be folk there. There are probably already some, and more on the road behind us from all over.
Oh,
I-
that's true.
I do not know this word. Heretic.
Some lands, some peoples hold to ideals that are very rigid in their own beliefs, their own spirituality, believing that the old ways that are long since gone, those who could practice measures of power were against whatever belief they held.
My experience with magic is limited, and from what it has been used has been used in a very dishonorable fashion.
I don't know that I would call yesterday's activities dishonorable, but
No, from my past.
ah, well, I've only ever experienced touches of power one other time in my life. Gets this kind of far off look. It was not a bad thing or an evil thing by any means, but there were those nearby that grew distrustful of the one who possessed such power.
People fear the things they do not understand.
This whole concept is very strange to me. I have a costume I put on that looks very colorful and flamboyant, and when I do these magics, when I'm in this costume, people do not pay much attention to it. It is very applause and ooh and ah and throw a coin at me. I do not understand what you mean, distrust or heretic.
In Lostren, if you were to do the same tricks, some would have you put on a stake and burned.
On
That
the
sounds very warm.
on the mention that people fear what they don't understand, Jubei nods his head. Yes, I agree. I fear taxes because I never really got understood.
This
Is
is
it?
also
Most
true. This
men-
is why I've never paid taxes.
In Lostren, I think it is more of a fear of something that they cannot control.
Kai nods and he's like, well, if these taxes are things that you fear, I do not want to see one.
They're very complicated. You don't know what percentage you have to pay the Lord and of what. It's very confusing.
As a merchant who travels, I believe the best policy is to not. But let's keep that between us, shall we?
Miss just gives him a very understanding nod.
But neither here nor there. I just.
As we're-
worry.
As we're walking away, I'm explaining to Kai. It is very troublesome. It involves a lot of mathematics, and if you get it wrong, you can go to jail.
Are you saying I should keep my hood up as we approach the festival? I have grown comfortable, yes, but I can become more withdrawn.
I don't think your appearance will matter.
That is good.
I'd be worrying about doing any of those tricks again. The ones that are extra magical.
There is no prohibition against any such things in Skima itself, specifically for performers to help them avoid any undue fuss for tricks of light and mirrors and things of that nature. But I just wish no ill upon any of you.
I appreciate this.
Your concern is noted and appreciated.
I've
Be careful who you have such conversations around.
I have no intention of talking to anyone about it,
I
aside from you all.
I will give none of you no illness.
appreciate your wish of no ill will, but we risk ill will every time you step out of your house. And if you don't step out of your house, then you will miss the beauty in the world by. It's a gamble every day, but it's worth it.
Ha! No gamble. I do not have a house, so I do not gamble with these.
Oh, Jubei, wolves are beautiful, but that doesn't mean you go up and pet everyone that you see.
I disagree. If I ever saw a bear, I would hug it. Be my death or not, they are adorable.
Player projection on the character.
I wish you
Well-
the best with that.
Perhaps this bit too heavy of a conversation. Shall we continue on?
I appreciate your concern. We'll keep a low profile for sure.
So, well, it'd be difficult to keep a. You know, at a festival it may be easy. So I was telling you about Skima. So the town is built into some ancient structures, and as he continues down the road, he shares this. There are pockets of warm air beneath the ground that someone, very clever, shaped the stone to move the air around so the snows never frost over in the valley. It stays warm year round.
Trying to tell me this town has central heating and air conditioning?
I mean, it's got central heat. It's got radiators,
Radiators.
but
So you
there
mean
are
like in the Terran forest?
perhaps.
There are pockets like what we went through back before, just earlier
Yes,
today.
just like that, but more complex. Built into the cliffside, and there are springs within the cliffs that emit these gases that are not harmful by any means, but some clever peoples thought to channel them through the cliffside and built these 5 flat levels or steps along ledges, perhaps along the cliffside. The first one is generally referred to as the floor. It is at the forest level. It's where the folks who live and work there year round stay. There are sundry festival activities, an inn, a bar, a few merchants, things of that nature. The second level is called the Step. And in the Step, you will find this gorgeous market that sets up for the festival specifically. And there are several vendors there with permanent shops as well. And a slightly nicer inn. I'll be staying there. And then the middle tier is called the Midden. That is where there are no structures there, but they set up large tents and tables for feasting and celebrations. The fourth tier is called the Precipice. There the springs are located, and there's an inn there that I think that chap will probably be making his way to. I think wealthier tend to stay up there. And there are beautiful gardens, if you wish to visit them, cultivated and managed year-round by the locals. And then the final is referred to as the summit. There are more springs there, and the best view of the lights and the sky, the forest floor itself. And there are championships held there for all the activities. There's a kind of gestures at Jubei. There is a sword, a test of skill of the sword. There are archery competitions, and
I need no test. I am skilled.
you don't have to prove it to me, I assure you. But there are activities, if you wish to get involved. Feats of strength and dexterity and skill and wit. But I'm rambling, and well, what better way to show you? And as you crest over the top of a hill, looking down into the dip of a valley floor, the town of Skima lay before you, built into the side of the bluffs.
Pretty.
Very cool.
There she is. Haven't been here for a year.
So just to be clear, I am not to do tricks here? Yes?
Perhaps only if you're on stage?
Perhaps we keep it to just doing a show. Maybe not in the street.
Jubei. Jubei, do you think they were being chased by taxes? I keep looking back behind us.
I don't know if it's something that can chase you, but the idea frightens me that it can.
I look even more concerned. Like,
Drums in the deep. They are coming.
This foe is beyond any of you. As the lot of you travel down the hill into Skima proper, there are small fields set up for farming in these warm dips of the valley. And from the break in the tree line on, every bit of it appears cultivated and gardened and manicured as if managed throughout the year so that it is beautiful for this one time.
I very
So
much
it's
want to see the maiden and the summit. What do you want to see? I just kind of look around excitedly at everybody.
So it's like all those southern towns during the 4th of July. They get out and they mow their yard extra good.
This is all new to me. I'd like to see it all.
I thought the city was a smaller city.
This is a small city.
Surely you guessed.
You have not seen the queendom.
This is the largest place I have ever seen.
Where I come from was bigger than this.
Possible.
There are places within the Terran forest that are quite large from what I understand, but I haven't seen them myself. So I'm right there with you, Kai. This is about as large as I've probably seen.
There's quite a bit of people, too.
It is more money to be made. We will be wealthy by the time we leave.
Perhaps.
Oh, speaking of money, right. Reaches into a pouch and counts out 5 silver for each of you. And if nothing else, thank you again for traveling with me. If you are amenable, I'll introduce you to Clover. Manages the inn I'll be staying at. She's a fantastic woman.
How expensive of an inn is this? If you
Does
mind
it
me asking.
matter? I would like to meet her. Him. It. They. I don't care.
Her, in this case. There are a few theys around, so be wary. I believe... what was the rate she told me in the last letter? For a day or two, it's just a few silver, but I believe for the entirety, I'll be staying at 10-day myself. It's 2.5 gold.
I look down at my purse and it's like literally all the money I have. Oh. Noted in.
Reese, we can share a room. This charges nothing.
Okay.
The lightened bed is a fantastic establishment, but there are other places you can stay if you wish. You can camp in the woods if you wish. I'm sure, as long as you let someone know to make sure it wasn't their home, it would be fine. But
Speaking of lodgings, I'm sure we can figure that out based off what everyone wants to do. But speaking of homes, and given your warning to keep such talk to a minimum, or careful at least. There's supposed to be a sage of some sort, some person that supposedly has powers of their own in the area of Skima. Would you know anything of them?
Not personally, no, but you should probably talk to Clover. She may be able to point you in the right direction. If
Well,
not her,
Well, then it
if not
sounds
her,
like we should meet Clover then.
if not her, Sandy knows everyone and everything. Or Zane is another fella. He is a bit of a gossiper. Knows a little bit about everyone and everything. So there are options.
If I'm to understand, does our fellowship continue? I believe we were traveling companions up until this point. Correct? Even my friends, Reese and Mist. We speak as though that we continue together.
Well, Mist does, so I'm happy to keep going with you all, if you'll have me.
He could not afford to travel without me at this point.
Well, I believe at very
You're not
least,
wrong.
Many of us seemed to originally be coming here to speak to the sage. So at the very least, I think we share a common goal there. No?
If you all are interested, I would be keen on some security for the return journey as well.
I do not know where I will be going after these.
Neither
cannot
do
speak
I.
to that right now.
My sojourn into this world is to go where I have not been, not go back to where I was.
As long as we don't go back to Lostron, I'm happy with it.
Well, I'm not going back to the Terran anytime soon. So I'll be going somewhere.
Well, I do have a route I usually follow, but sometimes I'll pick up a charter heading different directions along the way. Usually from here, I'll head to the Sisters.
I do not know if I am ready to join a troop again.
Perhaps we could tell
well-
you after the festival.
Fine, certainly. Just the offer's there. But if you're looking to pick up a bit of extra coin while you're around,
How much silver did he give us?
5 apiece. If you're looking to pick up a little extra coin while you're here, and as the wagon and a lot of you come down into town, he points towards the largest building on the floor, on the ground level of Skima. That is Skima's Whispering No, I'm getting it wrong. What was it? Oh, I can never remember. I really should write these things down. Skima's Wares and Whispering Goods. That was run, or used to be, by a gentleman named Christoph. Runs a bit of a do everything for everyone. Make sure anyone who needs work can find it. So, if you're looking to pick up a little extra coin,
What level
talk
might
to
that be
Christoph.
on?
This one, it's right there.
On
And he gestures. And through a few other buildings, you can see the peak of a very simple structure sticking up above the rest. Christoph stocks up throughout the year. That's actually where most of this will be going tomorrow. And he gestures back at the wagon.
Jubei, this is retconning a little bit, but you would see when you said that you had been when you used the word sojourn specifically, Mist would start doing phonetic comparison in his mind about your surname to that word.
Like writing a song.
Not necessarily writing the song, just almost the same look on his face as when he was doing the.
Yeah.
since he had never heard Jubei's surname before.
Make a straight intelligence check, Mist.
13 on the die plus 3, I believe. 16.
So Sojin, it not so much a surname as an honorific.
That's what I meant. Sorry,
based
you
off-
said that before.
Based off your experience with a very similar word in the past.
Yeah. Right, because I know that the Zhen part means night, but I haven't heard the So part before. So, yeah, and literally this is just Miss trying to put puzzle pieces together. Of your name was strange when you introduced yourself, and you just said a word that's almost like it. I'm gonna move these puzzle pieces around.
As we're standing there, Jubei will look up and look at the people. If we are to stay together and our fellowship are to continue, and he reaches into his robe and he pulls out kind of a little heavier coin bag, jangling a little bit. The rooms will be on me at whatever end we choose.
Does this mean we will live on your back, or you will pay for them?
Very confused at this
I
statement.
I think he means like he'll pay for our rooms.
This is delightful. I would be happy to do so myself, but I'm sure Reese would very much appreciate it.
Jade. Are we heading to the step then?
I figured as much.
It sounds
I would like to meet Clover.
lodgings and Clover seem to be our first step, then.
Wonderful. Well, continuing down into the valley, and as you start getting in amongst the village, there are folks of all walks of life milling about. Folks who very clearly just arrived recently versus folks who have been there farming, working, milling, whatever their particular occupation may be. A gentleman walks across in front of you, a dwarvish fellow carrying a rack of lumber on his shoulder forward, and hails to a human man at a door as they cross paths friendly. There are all races and all walks of life here in Skima as the town slowly starts growing for the festival that is just a few days away.
Are there any races that would be exceptionally rare, like Mist, around, like things that he wouldn't see normally?
Thus far, you've not seen anything particularly outstanding.
If we happen upon any more Dragonborn.
Thing as of now.
Okay.
Continuing down, it almost feels like Telflin is leading you to the cliff face, strangely. Like, the road goes this way, and he keeps going down directly towards the cliff face, and you can see these switchbacks that go up and down, and there are men and women standing there with these small carts, large wheels and handles. And you see a woman in finer clothes come up and hand a coin over, hop in the back, and get run up the level rather than walk it herself. And there are these strange grooves in the rock wall in front of you. And as
Teflon, I thought you wanted us to go up, Teflon, not into the walls.
we will. Trust me, you're in for a treat. And continuing around a small patch of trees, you see a wooden platform laid out against the rock wall with these strange beams leaning into the rock that seem to disappear into the grooves. And there is an elven man and a human woman there, chatting back and forth in gruffer tones, arguing. Fine, do it then. And she wanders off her own way. Women. Hey there. Here to use the lift? Why, yes. Yes, we are. Be... Do you know how much your cart weighs? Looking at Mystic.
I haven't a clue.
Be sensitive, though. The pony has put on a few. Don't hurt its feelings.
We
This
haven't
one-
eaten pretty well, so we might not have as much supplies.
This one pointing at Selu. This one keeps feeding it apples.
As Selu's literally sitting there feeding it another orange. Like,
You picked orange. Tell you what. Give me one of those. Pointing at the orange. And 4 gold. Fine, your rates have gone up.
so as he says this, Selu pulls out one of the star fruit as well. Any discounts further for more?
No. Oh.
You seem awfully unsure about that.
How about a freshly baked fruit tart from this morning?
To run a business. I'd keep your tart. Tart. Anyway.
What did you call me?
And he wanders over to one of the grooves in the wall after Telflin tosses him some coin and wedges himself into the groove and disappears into the rock face. Bring your cart up. Trust me. And he maneuvers his wagon onto the platform.
As this person has like disappeared behind the groove, Selu just like runs up and is like, "What is happening?" and just head behind, like trying to figure out what is going on.
I'll lead Mystic up and reassure her.
Juve just smiles. Nothing impresses him anymore, but he enjoys it.
So
Nothing.
right about the time you run and glance into this groove in the rock wall, this elf had tucked himself behind. A billow of steam comes right out in your face and the whole platform shifts.
Oh, we get it. He vapes while he works.
Glancing inside, you see a large brass cylinder extend up the side of the rock face that is just spilling steam out of this strange geared contraption at the bottom as the platform begins lifting. Slowly.
Reese probably like goes to like put his hands on the ground, like he's really unsure about this, and realizes that like no one else is doing it, and he's like, I don't want to be embarrassed.
Kai looks uncomfortable.
Juve just over. How high are we?
You're like a foot off the ground at this point.
I'm gonna look up. We have like 100 feet or more to go.
Is there
Yeah.
like, is there anyone around us watching us lift up?
No.
Mist
This
is
is
standing
normal?
as close to the edge as he can and is like, this is a wonderful experience. I would like to do this on my own sometime. And he's like pretending to like fly, like Rose on the Titanic at the front. Yeah,
Who's your Jack though?
Me.
there you go. Yeah.
Only this time he's just holding the back of his belt so he doesn't fall forward.
One hook in my hood.
Yeah. I will pull out my the pipe that I got from the crossing and light it, because like we're gonna be here a while.
Is there benches on this lift?
It is just a large, you would consider like a freight lift.
So I will sit on the edge with my back to the drop off. And you said there's railings, right? Oh, there's not? Wow.
No.
OSHA would love this thing.
Oh shit, yeah.
So I'll
We
sit
don't
on the
mention
cart.
OSHA here.
I'll sit on the cart with the next to the pony, and as we're like going up, I'll pull out that leather-bound journal again with pages ripped out, and I just start writing in Draconic what I'm seeing, describing the town.
So several minutes pass as this thing slowly lifts up to about 10 feet. And then there's this catching junk. And you look over the edge and you see several teams of oxen begin to walk out of the cliffside. And you start moving a lot faster.
Hmm.
And the lift brings you up after just a few moments pass to the step.
I step off really quickly.
Oh, that's why it's called the step.
Selu would confirm that all the horses are copacetic with this situation as it's going up, especially after the sudden jolt, and try and help guide everybody off once they get up to the top.
Mind the gap.
Arriving at the step, you see before you a street prepared for a festival. There are tents being set up with merchants beginning to stack out their wares. There are several permanent structures built around this large square. Beautifully cultivated gardens fill the in-between spaces, and small corpses of trees, black as night, stick up out of the dirt. The leaves a dark, vibrant green, but the trunks and bark black as the night sky. Well, over here, and Telflin starts leading his team around the side. As you can see over this drop-off, you notice two things pretty immediately. One, within this large square, there is a circle of stone, worked cobblestones that is clearly defined. A ring, if you will, right in the center of the square. And the nicest structure on the entire step is where Telfin seems to be leading you. Above it, in beautiful scrolling golden leafed script, is the Lighten Bed. Well, I believe we're finally here. Hopping down and handing the reins to a stable hand who begins leading his wagon around as if he has no cares in the world, Telflin nearly skips into the front door. A young page comes up and reaches his hands out towards Mystic's reins.
Gingerly give it to him.
It's no problem, sir. Should be taken care of.
Thank you, lad.
Get the largest goose in all of London. Sorry.
Taken care of is what Eric Getzman used to say about the other horses who would be led us away from the troop.
That, unfortunately, is something different.
They just never came back. I don't know where he led them away to.
That's quite dark.
He's just
Something about the
smiling.
Rainbow Bridge, I don't know.
Entering...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. If you have something.
Selu's just taking in everything. There's so much new that they're like that moment of paralysis of so many different things to see and can't make a decision on any one thing. Just all the things sitting there.
I'll follow Teflon.
Did someone come to take my horse?
Not yet.
Okay.
But if just a moment later, another young man does come around. I'd take your horse for you, sir.
Where?
To this stable round back.
Show me first.
Young man is incredibly confused.
Someone
And,
come.
okay. And leads you around the side of the building.
Does someone
And-
come for the pony?
Yeah, they
Yes.
took our pony.
Yeah, pony's already gone.
Oh man, I missed it.
I'm gonna go inside.
Okay.
No,
Uh,
Mystic, not you missed it. Mystic.
So, Kai, around back of this two-story structure is a heavily hayed courtyard and a gorgeously crafted stable behind. It is enclosed with individual stalls for all the horses, and you see them circling Telfin's wagon around and unhitching his team, and a group of gentlemen come up and start pushing his wagon back as if backing it in up against the wall.
So it looks like the horses are being well taken care of.
Yes, it does.
So I'm gonna dismount, and then I tell the kid to come closer.
Yes, sir.
And I get down to his level, and I'm like, I'm not going to threaten you because if you hurt the horse will kill you.
Oh man.
What? Okay.
Next to me, the horse is like, it does like the chuckle thing the horses do, and then I put the reins in his hand.
Okay. Yeah. Come. What's her name?
Navara, take good care of her.
Navara. Right this way, if you please. And starts walking forward, hoping that she follows. Does she?
Actually, sorry. So, I would not have given him her name.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was not thinking
It's
about
okay.
that. So he asks what her name is, and I say, to you, she is horse.
Okay, she's a horse, right? Come along, horse, if you please.
After a little bit of tugging, like
If you please.
gentle tugging, it's like, yeah, fine.
Yeah, definitely trying to be polite to horse. Back around the front, entering in, you see what could be an incredibly well-filled inn with only a few people present. There is a gentleman up near the stage, looking like might be getting up on it eventually. There's a lute laid out next to him, but he is very clearly drinking at the moment. And behind the bar, a half-orc woman, slight of build, tusks sticking out of pale white skin. Telflin, you made it. Glad you're here. Clover, darling. Friends, this is Clover. I'm same room. Okay, I'll be down later. You're in good hands, I assure you. And Telflin makes his way off. Hello.
While everybody else headed in, especially since Kai would have been around to the back, Selu probably in an attempt to see something new before going into a building, probably rushes over to one of the trees and is looking at this jet black bark and whatnot, and waiting for Kai to come back around before going in.
So just the three of you inside.
I will walk straight up to Clover. Madam, and bow.
Awfully polite of you. Welcome to the loft in bed.
Yes. Do you have any empty rooms?
We do. No one's filled them up yet.
How many?
Well, let's see here. 21.
Big place.
They're small rooms.
Um,
It fills up fairly quickly after the festival starts.
How many 2-person rooms or 3-person rooms do you have?
10.
Um,
You got your pick.
I will
Right.
take. Do you have enough to room 5?
Certainly, I could put you all in the same room if you wish.
Is it a big enough room for 5 people?
Yeah, as long as your friends aren't giants, sure.
I do
Yes.
not wish to share a bed with anyone else, though. Can I have my own bed?
Oh,
Yeah.
they are what we call the run rooms. There's 4 of them. They can sleep up to about 8, but if you want it to yourselves, you first come, first serve.
Turn around very sharply and look at Reese and Mist. How long are we staying?
I have no
How
idea.
How long has our friend procured his room for?
10
I
days.
believe you said 10 days.
Telflin's here for a 10 day, yeah.
How
Yep.
how much for 10 days for that room?
I believe 6 gold crowns ought to do it.
I reach into my pouch and I pull out 10.
Reese pales and then sees the 10 and pales even further.
These are, and I slide her 10. These 10, and these are draconic coins. These are your 6 for the 10 nights, and these 4 are for anything else we may need during that time, or any trouble we may cause.
Ooh,
Listen.
Shiva has springed for room service.
This is a lot of gold. Run a fair business here, so hold on.
I do have another question. Does this town have access to a mail service?
She reaches down and pulls up a scale and pulls out several gold coins and sets them on and starts taking your larger ovaloid coins and sets them on and starts trying to weigh the balance so that she doesn't overcharge. There'll be couriers coming and going. I think the next one leaves tomorrow.
I will have a letter ready by then.
What about female services? We know about the mail service now.
Yeah,
I'm
you
kidding.
can-
I'm not inside. I'm kidding.
Find those in the other end.
Mm-hmm.
So taking the 10 coins that you have presented, she counts them out and hands you back 6 of them. This is... I still owe you change. Reaches into a pouch and hands you 2 more coin. So you get 6 roan back.
Are you sure? I would like us to have plenty for if we ask for extra services, or if
Oh, I'm
We're
sure.
a bit new to this area.
Yeah. Shows. Welcome to the light bed. I'll take you to your rooms now. kind of looks longingly at the pile of gold and then puts her scale away.
Jubei slides the coin purse back into his robes.
And takes you up to a room. In the room, there are 8 individual beds. It's all yours.
We have 2 other friends that will be joining us and give her a description of Kai and Selu. And if you...
Would you like... It's almost supper time. Would you like it up here or down in the...
Look at the room. Is there a place for me to cook in here? We will gladly enjoy whatever meal you provide.
Table for you downstairs.
Do you know what time the market will be set up for consumers?
Few shops are already open, but not all of them. Sandy's open, I'm sure. Christoph down on the foot's open, I'm sure. Dinguish should be here in the next day or two. Telfin will set up tomorrow. There's some, but not a lot yet. We're still a few days off.
Do you know if anyone will be selling the stone, the moonstone, the blue stone? I like it.
I'm not familiar with it myself.
And I pull out my dagger and it would look like this.
Oh, that's pretty. I'll keep my eyes open for you.
Just to point me in the right direction, I would very much appreciate it.
Probably Dinguish.
English. Yes, I will find them.
They deal in the weirder stuff. I'll see if your friends are back. She
Thank you kindly.
darts out and heads downstairs. There's a excited energy and her very dark black hair on pale skin is almost frazzled with the number of new arrivals and there's almost this she wasn't quite ready for Telflin. You look on her face and coming darting downstairs. Kai, you come back around the side of the building to see Selu staring at a tree.
So, I was gonna say, cut to Kai and Selu standing inside the inn, both standing in the middle of shit, people trying to squeeze by us, and both of us are just like,
pretty much,
You must be their friends. With the Dragonborn and the one with the blue and the horns. I cannot get this accent to save my life. I keep switching them.
Yes, that would be our friends. I am Selu. Nice to meet you.
Oh, right this way.
Introductions
And she goes
another time then, and follows.
She goes bounding upstairs. There's this frazzled exterior to her, and she darts down the hall and knocks on the door. Goo, 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 goo. There's a rap on your chamber door.
I'll open it.
Your friends are here.
Oh, thank you. I figured we'd all stand out.
Yeah,
My name's Reese, by the way.
Reese. Nice. I'm Clover. Nice to meet you.
If you need anything from any of us, please let us know.
Sure. I'll have supper down in about an hour.
Sounds lovely.
Wonderful. She's gone.
She gave us a whole hour. I want to go to the market.
We have this whole room.
The room
You
is
can
okay.
thank Jubei for it. You can thank Jubei for it.
We have this room for 10 days, not an hour.
But the market is now.
And Selu, you enter to a simple room with nice beds. Probably the nicest beds either of you have ever seen. And
Just as a quick question before we move to, was there anything of interest about these jet black trees, or is it just a?
You have not seen them before.
Okay, probably would have
but
peeled
it-
off a piece of the bark, got to the room, and
You cannot.
really.
Ooh.
Hmm. Cannot how?
Physically cannot.
It's too hard.
They're like
The-
those artificial Christmas trees.
The tree itself is very smooth in texture, and there's even like trying to pick and pry with a knife, it will not go in.
Interesting.
Fascinating.
Millennial can't even.
Okay.
Reese is gonna set down his giant backpack, and it's like all like the his like tools and like all kinds of other things, but he leaves like his normal bag with his cards and like those things on his person. So do we take a look around before dinner?
Mist
lots
is
to see.
actively and just unapologetically changing in front of everyone into a set of nobles' clothes that look incredibly fine. They meticulously
grenade.
folded and just.
I look right away.
Full blue nude, hanging out until I get redressed.
If
Jubei
other,
looks.
other people probably looking away, Selu is just unaffected.
Jubei looks as the same curiosity he does with everything new that he sees. Looking at Mist. Oh, that's an interesting tattoo above your tail and buttocks.
Reese just stepped out of the room like he can handle it. Like, nope.
It was a symbol of the menagerie. And he just continues dressing.
Canon.
Oh, absolutely.
Has a tramp stamp. Awesome.
Being out of the forest and whatnot before heading out, Selu would actually take a moment to like rewrap some of their own clothing, and like what's tighter around waist is now down into almost like a short, like knee-length skirt length tunic. Down over the trousers. Both sleeves are undone down into the like drapery kind of look. Everything looks more relaxed.
That's
All
so
Jubei
cool.
does is he leans the glaive up against the wall. I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
So as Selu changes their dress, do you expose chest? Like, is it waist down tunic only, or
No, I mean like the leather cuirass and everything is still on.
Okay.
So like I have not taken anything off.
Okay.
But just resituated stuff.
Mist was going to have questions about Terran societal norms, but never mind.
Awesome. Kai, just make sure you have a moment. In this room with all these people, this would not be particularly abnormal for you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me. I'm not also like not taking anything off. Like, I'm really not sure what they're all like getting ready for. I'm carrying everything I have, and like sending it down in this room is not like doesn't look like that's gonna happen. So I'm just kind of like
There's only one
standing
person
there.
that's really changing an outfit.
Yeah, well, so but I imagine people are like settling in and putting stuff down
Yeah.
and like putting stuff away, and I'm just kind of like standing there like watching everybody kind of not necessarily awkwardly, but like not sure if I should be doing something or not.
But honestly, who uses the drawers? What maniac uses the drawers in the hotel?
Is that Mist?
Mist is like
Yes.
super acclimated to this
This is home.
style of living, and just like, okay, we are posted up in a new town for a new performance. This is wonderful. I'm going to explore, and I'm going to wear my finery, and I'm going to tuck everything in here, and this is going to be home for the next 10 days.
That's not how you do it. Every Ren Fair, every like convention I've been to, you just put your suitcase on the little foldable rack and you open it up and you work out of the suitcase.
Man, I've been to too many dance competitions and have to change clothes
So-
way too many freaking times to not use those drawers.
So this is a wonderful opportunity for us to take a quick break.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
We have devolved into hotel etiquette. So thank you everybody watching, and we'll be back here in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And welcome back.
Yay!
Hello.
Hopefully the GM can get his accents right, and we'll jump back in. So you guys are in the room that you have rented for the next 10 days of the Lightened Bed. Supper will be on here before too long, as the day is winding down after you have been traveling this entire second day. And
So I have a discussion for us that we had in break. Is it a lighten bed, as in doesn't weigh that much, or the light and bed?
Lighten, as in it does not weigh that much.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew it. I'm glad I got it right.
That's what I wrote down too.
Yeah, after leaving the room, embarrassed at his companions, I will just chill in the common room and like wait for them.
With Reese in his porn star voice.
Yay, microphones.
Hey, much like Mystic, he's a little worse.
Yes, indeed.
And with a
So,
groan,
in the-
Selu leaves the room, probably with Mist, to go check out the market.
I've had 2 groaners this game. I'm proud of myself.
If it's been enough time for me to change into my fine clothes, I am walking as haughtily as possible back down to the market.
Oh, he's just super hot.
Yeah, very
Haughty.
hot. Okay.
Haughty.
So,
If you don't say so yourself.
Reese, as you come back down the stairs and sit in the bed, the half-orc matron of the establishment is back behind the bar serving drinks, and the gentleman with the lute is still sitting there very enthusiastically drinking rather than playing. And there are a few other people coming and going, but looking around, this reminds you of a longhouse or a Thrayne back home. A large place where many people would gather. Looking around, there's 2 dozen tables in this establishment. It is large, and it will probably be busy at some point in the coming week.
She said she had like 21 rooms
Yes, available.
available. And 4 of those were those big rooms.
Big in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'll go outside with Mist.
All
Yeah,
the cool
I
kids
guess
are
I'll go
doing
shopping.
it.
Yeah, I guess I'll go shopping. I don't have any money, but I'll go.
So,
Peer pressure.
you see Selu Mist as you exit your room. Kai and Jubei, are you going to be joining, or are you going to hang back?
Yeah, I'll follow.
Okay.
I'm following
I'm
Mist.
just curious.
I'm following Mist. Anyone that's so happy to walk outside dressed like that, it's going to be a show.
That's fair. So the lot of you step back out into the square. And for reminders, as you walk back out, the ornately carved and gold leaf sign swinging just gently above you, off to your right, you look over the cliff's edge down into the forest. Again, Osha doesn't like this place because there are no railings. And ahead of you, there's a large cobblestoned courtyard where the lift comes up and stops. You can also see where the switchback continues down the mountain, and further down where it continues up the side of this large cliff face. Several shops, permanent structures are there, but there are also temporary tents being set up for, you imagine, market vendors and street vendors for a festival that is to arrive. And in the center of it all, there is a large, almost like a cobblestone curb, around in a circle in the center of the square.
I want to walk up to that.
Yeah, Mistletoe would be investigating that as well.
Okay.
Pacing around it with the ruse of looking at all the carts for the first time around.
Okay.
Oh, I don't look at the cards. I'm looking at the stones.
I'm trying not to be awkward.
Oh,
The
I'm awkward.
stones are just like the rest of the ground, nothing ornate or specific about them, but they very clearly demarcate this circle in the center of the square. And the more you look at it, the more the pattern of how it is paved, all the stones in the center spiral in towards the middle. And it's subtle. It's really easy to miss if you're not closely looking at it.
Is this one of those things like a campus painted mascot that like no one steps on it? Is everyone like avoiding the circle?
No,
Oh, okay.
not at all.
Don't have to worry about getting a swirly if you accidentally step the wrong direction on
Right.
Upon like realizing the pattern, Selu would start like walking the spiral, and like taking in everything else, but like continuing along that motion.
Okay.
I look at Mist. Now we're awkward.
Jubei's just looking around and taking in this whole other culture and just reveling in it. He would smile at kids, try to engage with them.
Okay. Make a just general charisma check for me.
Oh boy.
This is actually a fighter that I put particular notes in charisma just because it's the way that he is.
I love it.
18.
Okay. So no one runs from you.
That's good.
There's a young girl walking with her mother who's like, Mommy, look at the scales. And they go, don't be rude, dear. And they stop and chat with you amicably for a moment. The child wants to look at your tail and see your teeth, and very much that child curiosity and absolutely no fear whatsoever.
Well, I will uncurl the tail, which you guys have not seen Jubei do yet. And it's a typical dragon-born tail that comes out with red scales, except it has tufts of white hair that starts sprouting up between the scales towards the end of it and ends in like a tuft of white hair.
Like a paintbrush?
Similar, very think Chinese dragon.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a very, very, very Chinese style dragon in the way his hair is and his beard is. And he'll let the girl touch his tail while engaging with the mother and bringing her into the conversation.
Are you here for the festival?
Yes, I've heard wonderful things.
It is fun, yes. We're still setting up. Nothing's ready yet. Another day or so, and everything should be ready. All the merchants are coming, and the performers will be here. It'll be wonderful. Mommy, look at his tail! And she's like trying to pull on the tufts of fur.
Kids.
About that time, Selu makes a pass.
And I wince a little bit and looking at the little girl. You looking forward to the most? Oh,
The little girl pipes up immediately, forgetting about your tail. I want to see the lights. The lights are so pretty.
I hear they are. That is why we are here.
We get little lights every couple of days, but the big light happens every year.
Big light.
The moment like she mentions the little lights, Selu like stops in their tracks, and like pops over. They happen more than just once a year, even the smaller ones, but they still happen. And is like looking at the kid, looking at the mom, like
the
back and
kids.
forth.
Yeah.
Little girl.
And then the mom pipes up. Yes, it's the steam from the springs, and she points up the cliffside, and you can see that same familiar teal blue mist emanating from pockets in the cliffside.
And as soon as they mention there's hot springs, Jubei's eyes light up. Madam, are there public bathhouses?
Well, I don't think anyone would like you to take soap in them, but yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You all have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming.
As she's walking away, is there anything you would suggest for 5 newish, weary travelers visiting Skima for the first time?
Oh, definitely. If you have time, go see the summit. It's a bit of a trek, but it's worth it.
Not sure if we have time for dinner, but okay.
Is that the best place to see the lights?
Yes, it really is. You can see them from all the way down to the floor as well, but it's the prettiest from the top. Little girl starts tugging on her mom's dress. Mommy, we gotta go. Dad's waiting. Very busybody child.
I live with one.
Yep. Channeling my inner June.
Thank you so much.
Have a great afternoon.
You as well.
So in his circling, Mist would be looking for any merchants that are set up that would be jewelers, raw material merchants, or like blacksmiths. So people who would work with ore or metals or jewelry.
Okay. Looking around, you don't see very many shops that appear to be open for business. There is one of the permanent structures across that says in these beautiful red letters that look freshly painted, "The Clever Blossom." And to the left of it, in an establishment that looks like people are dusting off the cobwebs and taking boards off the windows kind of thing, you see in old faded letters that do not match the pomp and circumstance of the other, Dinguish and Snooch Haberdashery.
I love this name.
Dinglish?
Yeah, what is it?
Snooch.
Haberdashery. So with Reese kind of tagging along, I guess, as we both kind of examine.
Yeah.
Reese more awkwardly, Mist more socially acceptably, observing this kind of circular pattern in the stones. Mist would point out to you, that is the place that we were to find Sandy, I believe. And this place, this is the place where it would appear Dinglish has his weird stuff.
I'd be happy to look at either one. You keep saying that you're looking for these moonstones.
I want to collect as much of Father as I can. Yes. You have seen the stones. You know what I'm looking for.
I know exactly what you mean. Do they do anything for you? Do they help, or you just collect them?
Of course they help. They make me feel more at peace. Is this not why you buy things? To
I
feel
don't buy a lot
better?
of things.
I assume you wouldn't. And he just walks off towards Dinglish's haberdashery.
Okay.
I'll follow.
So after the brief interaction, like with the people and the lights, Sailor would have like continued like following the spiral, but as soon as somebody like goes to make for a shop, they would head that direction as well.
Okay.
Unless there's something super flashy going on otherwise that would have caught their attention.
So as you're walking in this spiral, there's this moment where it almost becomes hypnotic as you're walking, and you swear for a moment someone's walking with you, and then nothing. Like, it's just this strange moment where you almost feel juxtaposed like dual perception almost. You don't see anyone, you don't see anything, but there's this hypnotic effect of walking in this circle over and over and over again. And then your friends start making off and you come to.
Interesting.
You can join them.
Yeah, I head over with them then.
Kai, what are you doing while this is going on?
I want to follow. I want to follow Miss and Reese into the shop.
Okay. So, unfortunately, when you arrive in front of the haberdashery, there's a worker there pulling boards off the wall, and the windows are dusted, and you can see inside, and there are racks and racks and racks on the wall for wares and goods that are just empty. And the door is locked. And as you are up there, the worker who is unboarding it and starting to clean the windows. Oh, they don't get in till tomorrow. They're not here yet.
It is okay. We will be here for several days. Do you know they sell weird things?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
I
know what
do.
kind of? Do you know what kind of weird?
Yes.
Oh, tell me. And I like lean up against the door and just stare at him, like expectantly.
There's this awkward moment before he realizes you still want to talk to him. And oh, you're serious. Well, they sell hats and swords and gems.
They sound fascinating.
But mostly hats.
Do they make special hats? And I like gesture to these giant ram horns growing out of my head.
Hey, you have to talk to Mr. Snooch. I don't know.
Will you be here tomorrow? Could you introduce us? You seem to know Mr. Snooch.
No. I'm just cleaning off the building. It's fine. It's just my job.
This is a fun job to clean off for weird things. Do you perform while you clean?
What was the question?
Do you perform while you clean?
No.
Chimney, chimcharoo, and such?
What?
You should enjoy your job more. This is a fun job you have. And I just turn and walk away nonchalantly.
Reese is just like on it with his pipe in his mouth, just watching this, just like the biggest smile on his face. Like, what is happening?
This dude is flabbergasted. He has no idea what just happened.
Same with Kai, but behind Mist.
Like, as all this goes down and this whole situation gets really awkward, like, Selu just, like, takes Kai in an arm and is just like, maybe a different shop. And just, like, walks off, like, arm in arm with Kai.
I'm like, okay.
I would wander over to the Clever Blossom instead.
Yeah.
So approaching the
Make my way.
Clever Blossom, again, red painted letters and flower blossoms on the wall, and the windows are full of herbs and silks and different fabrics hanging down in a vibrant display. And pushing open the door, there is a bell up in the top that the door strikes. Ding, 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 ding. And the moment you walk in, this wave of scent hits you. Herbs and spices and dried flowers and fresh flowers and a wall of silks and fabrics and tapestries. It is overwhelming, the myriad and riot of scents that strikes you. This dimly lit shop, the sun peeking through in between the accoutrement in the window, and a hearth lit, but not roaring by any means. And sitting in a simple chair is an old gnomish woman, facing the fire, clearly asleep.
I probably walk in and am immediately put at ease by the smell of like all the stuff, and just immediately start walking around and like looking at all the herbs and things.
Okay. And there doesn't appear to be anyone else in the shop, and she does not appear to have noticed you.
Mist will actually like kneel down next to her chair and just like gently touch the arm of it. Grandmare, grandmother, Sandy.
And as you reach up and touch your hand, she kind of, and her hand comes over and pats yours.
Whatever you say.
Turns you into a toad. No. Thank you. Oh. You're a funny one. Hello. Oh, customers. Oh, no. She starts rising slowly, very obviously decrepit. Help me.
And very gently, just lifting her up and being very, I can't think of the word that I want, but compassionate towards her needs.
Mm-hmm.
She reaches up and pats you on the cheek. Aren't you a handsome elf? Yes. Pat, pat, pat. Oh, how may I help you? Welcome to the Clever Blossom.
Mist is glowing at the compliment of being handsome.
Forgetting the part that she called you an elf.
Absolutely. Doesn't matter. She thinks I'm
Worth
handsome.
it.
Right? Yes. Our friend Telfin told us that we would find you here, and that you have exciting wares for us to peruse.
No, this isn't Paris. But
Paris.
welcome. Telfin, you say? Is he back?
We just arrived today. Yes, we escorted him here.
Oh, good.
She, kind of getting her feet underneath her, reaches over and grabs a cane and starts walking away from you towards the back of the shop slowly. Very 1 foot, make sure it's set. The next foot, make sure it's set. Making her way to the back of the shop, and she puts herself up on a taller chair. And as she does, she grabs the counter next to her and just pulls, and the chair starts sliding around the back of the counter.
That's awesome.
Well, you.
You cut out there
Yeah,
a little
cut
bit,
out.
man.
Well, how may I help you?
I believe it's. And who has followed us in at this point?
So
I know Reese came in.
Selu would have like guided Kai in.
Yeah, that's
like
fine.
literally arm in arm with Kai. But then as soon as coming inside and seeing like all the plants everywhere, like arm drops and Selu just goes to the closest plant and starts talking to it no differently than they have with every animal in like everything, and just like walking in and like walking up to the closest like budded flower. I mean, like, and are you clever? You're definitely clever. And like just like going from flower to flower, just interacting with all of them. Just
I'm a tiger lily!
As Selu does and goes back and forth, perennial for mayor. As Selu does and goes back and forth, you notice that touches the flowers. They almost grow or expand just ever so slightly.
Well, you were looking for wares? Yes, we have many wares here.
Yes, well, my friends and I would like to peruse what you have, and I would be interested in the festival. Do you know of the festival?
Yes, it was last year.
We're new here, and we've never been.
Oh, well, it'll happen again next year. And it's very pretty, and people come from all over. And mostly leave me alone.
Would you prefer it if we left you alone?
No. You came for wares, yes?
And some questions and your company, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay.
She
lady is great.
she's just glazed over.
Well, you just missed the festival, but I'm glad you came.
Holy shit, she's
We get-
talented.
We're gonna find out here at some point. This lady's high as fuck.
What? Were you looking to purchase something?
Sean, your mic is
your mic
coming
got
from
gone.
far
quiet
away.
all of a sudden.
We might have switched. Yeah. If he leaves me at the counter, I'm like really awkward for a second. I'm a bit of a healer, and I was looking at the things that you have here, and you have quite a collection.
Yes,
I
we have wares.
And about that time, there's a door that opens and closes in the back. And a younger gnomish woman comes in. Ma! I brought you lunch, Ma! Hi.
Oh.
She walks. Mom, you're in my chair. Just 1 minute. And there's this like moment where she argues with her senile mother for just a moment. But eventually, oh,
Okay, I'm gonna take a nap now. It's fine.
and she gets her mother back over to the hearth and immediately starts snoring before the younger woman has even. Oh, hi. I'm Sandy. Welcome to the Clever Blossom.
I have totally pegged that one incorrectly.
Sorry about that.
Mhm.
Not a problem.
And this young gnomish lady has blonde hair that is just full of dirt and twigs and unkempt, tied back roughly into a knot that you're fairly certain she can't untie ever without just cutting it off.
Oh no.
Oh no.
And her big bushy gnomish eyebrows and her hands and feet, which she is walking around barefoot, are just dirty as all get out. I'm sorry, I was outside in the garden.
Not a problem. We were just
welcome.
telling your mother we love your shop. It's full of
Thank
lovely
you.
things.
Mom started it a long time ago. Oh, her lunch. She scrambles over and grabs a wrapped sandwich of sorts. I'll just stick this over here in the icebox. She opens up this cabinet. You see this waft of cold air come out. Sets the sandwich on it, closes it. So, you're here. Hi. What can I do for you?
Reese is like pointing at the ice. Pinning that. We're actually we're looking through your wares, and but we have some questions. We're new in town. We've never been to a festival.
Stuck out. Welcome.
We tend to do that. I'm curious. My friends have asked about it, and now I'm curious about it as well. We've heard tell of a sage that lives here.
Oh wow, you
people
just
come to visit.
straight out the gate swinging. Yeah. I've heard those stories too.
Then if they're just stories, then I'll keep them as that.
Yeah, let's keep them at that.
It would be a shame if someone who knew how to do tricks did not teach other people how to do tricks. And I looked the same direction that she looked off in.
The direction she looked off at a window, and out the window you see off the cliffside into the forest. Look, a lot of people come looking for stuff, and I don't know you from the other travelers outside. If you're interested in any of my wares, you're welcome to have a look around. Yeah, this is awkward.
It's okay.
So
I do awkward well.
As this kind of gets really awkward between them, Selu walks away from the wall, trailing a bit of fern as they go, and walks up and says, do you have any medicinal herbs or the like around? You've taken lovely care of your plants here.
Yes, that shelf over there, there's some packages of willow root and some red bud extract, and she just starts pointing down this array of unlabeled vials and jars, but very clearly indicating which is which. As soon as she points out the spot, I was like, "Oh, willow root! I had just run out," and goes over and is identifying all of these herbs, offhand, of very distinctly well versed in what everything is, unless there's anything regionally different or weird. But for the most part, seems pretty at home with medicinal herbs and would pick out several different things to refill a pack kind of deal.
Medicinal.
Not what Granny's smoking.
There's a moment where she's pointing out all of these things and her eyes trail off towards Kai. And she stops herself and goes back to, okay, and this one is a lavender extract that I've boiled down and added with the red bud, and just goes right back into talking. But it was very obvious.
Do I even notice?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I do notice. Okay. What kind of look was it? Do you have any way of inciting that?
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll one.
Sure. Oh, solid. It's a natural 19, so 22.
Nice. As she looked at you, there was a hint of recognition, and then she looked at your hands.
Okay.
And that look changed to excitement. And then she caught herself and went back to what she was doing.
Huh. Okay. Let me sit with that for a second.
Sure. She seems to scan right past Jubei in this, right past Mist. the other quote things that stick out in the group.
Mhm.
That was the thing that caught her eye. So, what were you looking to purchase? Some, or maybe some dried lavender for your hotel room. Hopefully, it's the inn is whichever inn you're staying is not too dirty.
But the light in bed
Or maybe
seems
are you
quite nice.
camping? What are you staying in a
The light in
inn,
bed
or are you
seemed,
camping?
The light in bed seemed nice enough.
Oh, Clover takes good care of her rooms. Okay. And we cleaned them out a few weeks ago, so they should be fine.
Oh no.
Yes. Telfin highly recommended it, and also pointed us toward you. Are you familiar with him?
Teclis. Yeah. He's supposed to be bringing me a package.
Oh, well, he made it here safely, so I assume the package is
That's
soon
good.
to be here.
Well, I guess if you guys just got to town, if you say you just arrived, okay, he'll probably come tomorrow. Then it's fine.
Like as she's talking, do I notice? Do her eyes come back to me? Like, what is?
There is a very focused intent on not looking at you. It's like it's a struggle.
Mhm.
Is this something that the rest of us would pick up on?
Yeah.
After a moment, yes.
So Mist, in engaging with her and talking to her, and Telflin brought us into town and all, etc., would like be slowly working his way to standing next to you. And as so he's beginning to talk more with that tone of familiarity of like what you would talk to a friend instead of a stranger. And as he's talking, he puts his arm around Kai. We were looking for Moonstone in particular. I noticed that you have many natural occurring things here. I was hoping you might have something from Nihus himself. Isbel.
While you're talking, she's very clearly not paying attention, as she's having a nervous breakdown, struggling not to say something, and then a moment passes. Can I see your hands? I'm sorry.
I want to know how Kai responds to me putting my arm around him.
I'm literally like, what? How you're like right here? I'm just like looking
yeah.
at you, like this close to your face, just like, what are you like? I don't say anything, but it's just like, what are you doing? Like, why are you touching me? Like,
And just
but I'm not sure if this
towards-
is like. I'm not sure if like this is like one of your like customs or like this is just what you do. So I'm like, I don't want to be rude, but like, what the hell?
So there's this moment where she has this mental breakdown, and this, can I see your hands? May I see your... How does this work?
I just know to ask him. He's pretty straightforward about everything.
We are very far from. Relax.
There's this moment where all of the stress goes away.
You're not Hurrin, so I believe you may speak to me normally.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I tried to be... I don't know much about many people except for what's in those. And she points at a bookshelf. May I see your hands?
Yeah, I just hold them out in front of me.
And she takes them and it's like turns them over, kind of rubs at the blackish texture. Oh, so that's how they do it.
Does her response to you mirror the story that you were telling us around the campfire about how you're treated by your people?
What exactly did I share? How much did I share with you guys? I don't remember fully. I told you that basically I was like I'm ignored by my people now because of what I am.
Right.
Yes.
You were chosen
did-
to fulfill a role, but you are ignored because of that role.
You didn't
Yes.
go into a ton of detail with it.
You told us the title though. You called yourself Veshmal.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, you would, by what she has said and what she is doing, that she is basically imitating how my people would have treated me, or how my people are supposed to treat me.
I'm sorry. I try to be respectful of what little I know of people's cultures. We get a lot of weird people here from all over the place, so I was just really curious how they did it.
Okay. So pause. Derek doesn't know how they do that. Does
Correct.
Kai?
No.
Okay. So wait. So did I just go to bed and then I woke up and my hands were black?
No, it was done in front of you in a bowl of liquid. They were
Okay.
dipped, and that was all.
But I don't know anything about the process. Okay.
Correct.
Got it. I do not know about the ritual itself, but well, can you tell me anything from what you see?
She takes out a small little metal scraper and flips her hand over to like a calloused part and scrapes it a little bit and just feels it in her hands and then puts it on your fingertips and has you feel it as well. And it's this gritty texture despite being your own skin. It's lentic root. Ironwood. It's like the trees outside.
That's cool. I don't say that.
Whoa.
Cool.
Rad.
They've been here forever. At least that's what Granny said. But well, Granny told Mom, and Mom told anyway. But they are supposed to have come from somewhere else. And what little extract we've been able to get out of the ironwood, it stains everything forever. You can't wash it off.
So when she
Trust
says
me,
that,
we know.
when she says that, my face kind of falls, because like, so when she says that, I'll say, ashamed that any of my people see this as an honor, but I take it more as a curse. I was hoping, with time, this would fade.
Curse, you've been. Well, I don't know the cultural significance or anything, but these trees are beautiful. And now you carry a piece of them with you forever. That's pretty beautiful to me.
That is a beautiful way of looking at it. And then I'll like clasp her hands. I say, "Thank you."
She gets like blush red, embarrassed. I'm sorry.
Reese slams stuff on the table.
Oh,
It's like a full healer's kit full of like medicinal herbs.
So I was just about to say, like, Sailor probably would have called Reese over at some point and like pointing out everything of like, have you ever tried these? Have you used these before? And like,
He already like scoped the whole shop. It's literally everything he needed and was already holding it. And so like he also has like probably things that she didn't point out that he just knows instinctively what it is. And so he just like drops it on the table.
Jubei's just walking around the shop smelling anything that might be interesting to put in a dish. Even if it's poisonous, he's got like a handful of wolfbane. Because he doesn't know any better. He lets like Seilu go, nope, and take it out of his hand.
So over the course of the time of this conversation, Bill, you stumble across several herbs that smell amazing, and you think they could be ground down or used in various ways. But as slams the pile unceremoniously on the table. She jumps. Oh, wow! Break the tension. So
Sayla would have a
sh-
series of things up there as well. Like it's
she turns back to Kai briefly. Thank you. Right. And hops into the chair and slides herself across the counter much more fluidly. And almost like with a little wee under her breath. As if she's been doing the same thing for years and years and years and years and years. Okay, so what are we looking at, folks?
I feel like Mist is walking around like humming "Strangers in the Night" to himself after watching all that interaction.
Jubei just walks up and bows and says, "Excuse me, what herbs in your shop would not kill a man in large quantities?"
He likes to cook. That's all it is.
Okay. Between her insight and that, we'll go with it. Over there, you see there's some dried cumin and some paprika, and she just kind of goes down a list. There's these little jars that are almost prepackaged and sealed with a cork stopper in the top. Those are all dried. We got them shipped here from around, and some of them are even grown locally. If you're interested, they're over there. What did we say? It was 2 copper. No, 1 copper. 1 copper for 2. That's what it was. So 1 copper for 2. If you're interested in any of the herbs, and all of these. Wow. Okay. We've got a whole medicine kit worth of stuff here.
So
I know what it is. Pretty sure. Also, I will
probably like the
slide
equivalent
a pack
of 2.
tobacco
like,
over.
Sayla would probably have like pieced together like a legit, like for sake of calling it something, would also have like acquired a medicinal kit.
Okay.
So out of character,
Hero's kit.
I wanted to look for things that I could craft our own healing potion, and I wanted to be hand picking those because I know how to make them, but I probably have never been able to find the items.
Okay.
Like some kind of tonic that I could make.
Yeah.
Just real quick, given the nature of the shop, would I be able to find just baseline stuff like cayenne pepper, ground cardamom, cinnamon, black pepper, everything? Okay, so
Here we go again.
I'm grabbing enough spices of coriander, cumin, ground turmeric, ginger, mustard, black pepper, cinnamon, cardamom, and chilies. I'm making a curry.
Okay.
Bill, you talk so dirty on stream. How do you justify that?
There are certain limitations to what we can put on stream on Twitch, man. I'm gonna need you to calm down.
The more he talks, the less I calm, sir. So Bill, just take the total number of spices and divide that by 2, and that's how many copper you need to spend.
Okay, then I'll tip her. I'll just give her a gold.
Okay, 1 gold.
And if she says it's too much, tell her to use the rest towards whatever my friends buy.
Oh,
Not
that's
again.
a lot. Okay.
Again with Daddy Jubei.
Yeah. My sugar daddy.
Hashtag sugar daddy cooks, I guess. Okay, well, okay, so that's 1 gold. And Tab just walked around the corner, and that's her quote for the night.
Which one, Daddy Jubei
Cooks.
cooks?
Sugar Daddy cooks.
Sugar daddy cooks.
Okay.
Consider me caramelized.
Yeah. So,
Jesus.
you essentially each have a healer's kit.
Yeah.
Set up on the table for a total cost of 10 gold. And there is an alchemical kit that you can purchase if you wish to start working towards being able to brew those potions.
As she rings up the medicinal kits, Selu would pull out a pouch and like set it down, and then like open it up and look at Sandy and be like, "I have no idea what your currency is here. Can you tell me how much we owe you, please?"
Just give her your wallet.
And it's
Please
literally
tell me.
there's like 21 gold in the thing, but Selu is just like, "I don't know."
The way he's doing the voice, it sounds like I've got this many.
That's many.
Exactly.
Is this many enough?
Oh, ooh, you are trusting. And she reaches and pulls 10 gold out.
Mist is gonna oversee this and make sure.
Okay, so
She does legitimately
what-
only pull 10 gold out.
I was gonna say like this is also being associated with what would effectively be an insight check that like this person's being honest with me, but
Right.
I feel like
That
the
you
answer to
have
that is
seen.
probably yes. So
That you have seen thus far, especially with the interaction with Kai, and interaction with her grandmother, or her mother rather. There's a very strong level of goodness about this person and
Yeah.
honesty.
Between
Sandy seems to be on the level.
Yeah.
Somebody you can
Bet-
trust literally with your purse.
between Jubei's overpayments, Reese's underpayments, or lack of payments, and Selu's
Oh, God.
lack of knowledge of payments, Mist is growing the idea that he's the only one that knows how money works.
Which is true.
Probably true. So Reese is going to slide the medicinal herbs back off the counter and just leave the tobacco, and he'll go back and set everything back up like where they belong on the shelves, and then come
What?
back.
What are you doing? Why are you putting things back?
I have enough, and I pat my bag to take care of us for a bit. I just figured it would be less expensive, but I'll find more later.
Jubei has offered to put his gold towards yours. Why do you not want to take him up on this offer?
I don't really want to be indebted to anyone
Have you
any
ever
more than I
heard?
already am.
Have,
He
have
slides 5 gold back across the counter.
It's really fine. I don't mind.
No, I'm
You're-
fine. I have
you're-
enough. I already have some.
Are you not already indebted for us saving your life from the hunters? Let us buy you these things. This is fine.
Saving your life from the hunt. What?
He doesn't like
That's
dogs.
It's a long.
I wasn't there. I just what I'm told is he doesn't like dogs. So
It's a very
Are-
long story.
Are you worried about the money of it?
I'm from Lostrin. I've come a long way. I know how to use the healing herbs, but I don't have a lot of money.
Okay,
Can-
hang
so-
on. And so she goes and grabs all of the herbs back, places on the counter, and slides them towards you. Come back tomorrow. You do a favor for me. Take these now.
I can do that. And I'll
Awesome.
slide them.
It's a new word I heard from Iona. Awesome. I thought I would try it. It's some awe, I guess.
It is big on Cinderfall. They describe the volcano itself as awe-inspiring, and some awe travels with them whenever.
Well, that makes sense. If you come first thing in the morning, preferably, I need to send you out of town. Just 2 hours walk, really, through the woods, to pick some mushrooms for me. They're in a cave that's on the edge of the cliffside, but it's a little ways away, and I'm not super keen on walking through the forest by myself.
I open my bag and look at the mushrooms that I already picked. Could you describe these mushrooms?
She kind of looks at your bag. None of those.
That would be a bit of coincidence. No, I can do that tomorrow.
No,
Sure.
not the edible kind.
Oh, that does remind me. And like taking pack down they would have eventually put them in, removes the remainder of the fruit that was picked for the day.
Oh yeah.
Teflon also mentioned that you might be interested in buying these.
Oh,
We picked a fair amount. Hate for it to go to waste.
they're for her. They're for her. Shh. And she puts 2 gold on the counter and slides it and starts taking the star fruit,
Perfect.
but leaves the oranges.
Okay. Perfect.
And then opens that chest again.
Mm-hmm.
And at a glance now, you can see that there are blocks of actual ice in it. And she sticks them in there and closes it.
Interesting.
So clarification, 10 gold was taken, 5 gold was put back, 2 gold was put back, so I paid 3.
Correct.
Okay.
So net 3 gold
Okay.
for 2 healer's kit and an alchemical kit, and
And the alchemical kit.
but Jubei also contributed to that as well.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
And 1 favor.
And a favor.
On board with that.
a favor to a gnome.
So, since you have met my companions and bartered with us and learned of our stories and know of our culture, I feel comfortable asking you: do you have any Moonsung relics or pieces?
No.
Do you
I've
know-
heard of Moonsong Steel. I know what it is. I don't have any. I had some. I sold it to. It was just a small little pendant, but I sold it a few days ago to one of the early arrivers.
We did not get here early enough, and I look at Reese almost accusingly.
I'm sorry that the dogs did not chase me here faster.
It is not your. It's fine, Reese. It's fine. Fine. How like an argumentative couple might say fine.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then I
Full
turn
of
back.
passive aggression.
Oh yeah. Do you know? Did this person have a name? Would someone else in town potentially have pendants of similar value or similar material?
Well, the Dinglish and Co. should be here tomorrow. Though I mean they'll be setting up tomorrow. I don't know when they're going to open.
And you'd be able to get there first.
I will line up in
Apparently.
front of their door if I have to.
Well, they should be arriving in town tomorrow. So if you can run out of town for me in the morning, I mean, chances
Sure.
are they'll be here in the afternoon. Just that their letter said they'd be here on the 9th. As the GM checks it.
Yeah.
What day is it?
Oh, I did have one more thing. Do you have any artist inks? For painting on skin, particularly?
How permanent?
Either
Do you
temporary or
wanna-
permanent. I was looking more for temporary, but
And she kind of, her eyes go back to Kai briefly.
Mm.
I was thinking temporary at the moment, but I am currently out of stock of
Say we need
permanent
some
as
sick
well.
tats.
So I'm not super interested in that today, but maybe on a later date.
I can probably distill some for you. And I don't have any in stock. It's not really something people ask for. But I can whip something up, I'm sure.
Okay. If there's anyone else in town that would normally carry such things, I don't want to put you in put you to any trouble.
Oh, no trouble at all. If you'd like to check some of the other shops, they may. Christoph down on the floor may have some. He's always got odds and ends, sundry things. But we tend to be a little more special
Sure.
needs kind of thing.
Essentially looking for like henna or jaguar type stuff.
Yeah.
Is what I'm looking for.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I think I can have something for you. If not tomorrow, the next day.
Great. I look forward to it.
Wonderful. Anything else? I kind of need to get her off to bed, I think.
Any treats
That's
for
fair.
a horse?
Horse? Hang on a sec. She goes and runs in the back. And as she throws open the door into the back half of the building, you can see a stairwell that runs upstairs, but she passes that and opens another door, and a waft of kitchen hits you. And she starts rummaging around in cabinets and comes back with a small little basket of biscuits. Regular, normal people biscuits. How about these?
I see that you spoil your horses too. Thank you.
I spoil nice people.
How much?
A copper? I need the basket back.
I do the same thing as Selu earlier. I like take my gold out, of which I have 10 gold and 5 silver, and I'm like, I do not know what that is.
Hang on. So she takes the silver.
I warned you all
And
we
she
didn't
comes
know
back.
what to do with money.
Yeah. She takes the silver and does come back with 4 copper change. Or, 9 copper change, and hands you back the basket. Just bring the basket back tomorrow.
This is fine. And then I dump it into one of my side pouches. I handed the basket back.
Oh, okay.
She is not that picky.
Sounds like a good horse.
The best.
Thank you so much for stopping by the Clever Blossom.
Thank you for having us. We'll be here tomorrow.
In the morning.
It sounds
Yeah.
like we'll see you in the morning.
As we're getting ready to leave, I'll bump up against Kai and be like, "You should wave to her with your hands." And then I'll walk out.
How else would I wave as he walks away?
How late in the day is it getting?
So the sun is setting at this point. The hour before supper has passed.
I'll look to Reese and Mist as we're leaving and say, have you enjoyed your snacks at any time today?
I have not eaten mine. No, I was waiting for dinner.
I was going to deal with my dinner as well.
I was going to suggest I could make you more if you would like to leave them with the nice lady that runs the herb shop.
That would be fair. In fact, I think her grandmother would love it.
I like fresh food, yes.
Yes, since her grandmother is such a fan of fruit, maybe she would like some cooked tarts.
I'll give Mist mine. You want to hand it back?
Oh, here you go, Jube. These are both of them that you gave to us.
You can, they are yours. You can give to them. It's merely a suggestion on my part.
Maybe I give them to the drunk lutist, and we get to take his spot, and we perform. Are you ready? I'm ready.
Oh no.
I left my instrument in the inn.
It is okay. I have to go back and change anyway.
Oh.
It's going to be Jube Cooks and Mist's wardrobe is the rest of this campaign, and nobody else knows how to money.
No.
Awesome.
I will take the tarts and go back in real quick. Ding 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 ding. And drop them off. on the counter and be like, "This is a gift from us to you, from our friend who likes to cook. Definitely does not kill people with his food."
Oh, thank you. They smell good.
Figured I'm sure your mother would like.
Did specifically say which ones kill people in a large amount.
Yes. Well,
Now we know.
that she starts helping her grandmother up, and thank you so much.
Of course. And I will leave.
Okay. Making your way back out into the square, you see that the inn is still quiet, but definitely alive for the evening as it's going to be. A few more travelers have filtered in as the afternoon and evening have worn on, and the loudest is playing.
Is it good?
He's okay.
Okay.
He probably shouldn't be booking like Friday night at a concert kind of
Right.
thing, but
He's no Tailweaver.
he's no Elias Tailweaver, that's for sure.
So
So
he just plays free falling forever.
with the this may be jumping ahead, so I apologize. But with my circus freak background, I am. If I perform nightly, I become somewhat of a local figure. So I would like to begin that performance this evening, if possible.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
After a brief conversation with Clover, you are invited to perform in between the loudest's sets.
But what he's not telling you is he was a circus geek.
Strangers recognize me in a town where I've performed and typically take a liking to me. I guess that depends on my performance role, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sure does. So to bring us to a conclusion for tonight's game, why don't you make a performance roll?
Yay! So
I'm
going
gonna
up,
help him.
going upstairs, I would take 10 to 15 more minutes and put on. If you all aren't coming upstairs, if you all are staying downstairs for dinner, I would come back down in the most flamboyant jester's costume you all have ever seen. Almost as if I'm heralding a larger performance in itself. And this would be my norm in my previous troupe as I come down in this outfit. And using a blip of thaumaturgy as I come down the stairs alone, as soon as I'm by myself, I boom my voice to introduce my act.
Excellent.
Oh man, these nines
So-
are killing me.
So I wanted to help him. So I imagine like Reese has started drinking by this point, and if at any point in his like thing he starts to falter or something, I'm gonna subtly cast minor illusion to give like little dramatic effects to his like performance. But I want to give
Yeah.
the help action.
Okay, make a sleight of hand check for me.
18.
Okay.
Plus 1. 19.
Okay. Go ahead and roll with advantage.
So we went from a 9 to a 10, which brings me up to a 14.
Okay.
Tried.
So
14's not
coming back
terrible.
down the stairs,
No.
your troop
For an
Yeah.
opening night, it's okay.
having
It's okay.
taken up the table, and actually
getting your
Telflin
footing.
comes and joins you. And there's a bit of faltering for a moment as you step up to perform, and after a moment, the moons are rising, the night is on, and it is your time. And with a little bit of subtle arcane trickery in the background, you have performed for your first night.
Yes.
Nice.
Whole bunch of sleight of hand card tricks going on. That's all I got right now.
Absolutely.
So as the evening,
Coin tricks too, like making shit
Yes.
appear behind people's ears and stuff.
Absolutely, yes.
as the evening wears on, and eventually exhaustion and sleep take you all, that is where we will step away from Thrayne for the evening.
I love this
Yay.
campaign.
It's so good.
So we playing tomorrow?
Yeah, please. Can we?
I'll call into work for a snow day. It'll be
I mean,
Just keep it going.
we told Sandy we'd be back in the morning, so
So
I'll be
Bright and early.
I'll be ready to go first thing. Let's do this.
I'd rather set an alarm for this than set an alarm for work. So yeah.
Yeah, same.
all right. Well, would anybody like to lead us off for accolades this evening?
Ooh.
Anybody? Anyway,
Ooh.
Sean.
All right. So I mentioned last week that I am a huge sucker for the one-liners, and that is something that grabs my attention and gets me every session. So last week, it was talking to horses. This week, it is more. It is again horse related. Derek, your one-liner with Kai of "I'm not going to threaten you, because if you hurt the horse will kill you." We haven't gotten a whole lot of insight into your relationship with this horse yet and what that means to you. We know that it's important, but we don't know the depth of that. And your one-liner of that throwing in there was not only hilarious, but also insightful into your character, and I really appreciated it. So thank you for that. That was
Thanks, man.
wonderful.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Patrick.
Uh,
Just gonna go in my screen here.
Sure.
I will go with Jubei and the whole like nobility and like he like entered this town like he owned the place, but like in a subtle way, and like he kind of transformed into this like public figure persona, like very likable and a little more talkative, and like we got like glimpses of him being like, I want to explore and see things, but this was like he wanted to enjoy things, and it was like really cool to see him come out like that.
Absolutely agreed. Jacob.
Mine is going to go to Sean tonight. The layers of mist were really neat to see in terms of like how he changes himself based off of what he's doing and what is around. Like everything from the puzzle box on the cart just going and minding his own business there, to this like shift and change when we got back in town, to then the change to like not only just from like how he is when he's traveling to the like noble air that he took on walking around town, but then like again to the performance change again at the end. It is like he has these characters built into him throughout what he's doing, and I love it. It's really cool to see him shift how he handles situations as he goes from thing to thing.
You could almost say he shifts like the tides. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Bill.
I have to say it goes to Jacob with the way Selu's like, I don't know what money is. I kind of enjoyed that. That was funny.
We had one of those moments on our first session together. We both walked into the inn and they were like, "Yeah, it's this much," and both of us were like,
How much is this much?
And last but certainly not least.
Yeah,
that's you.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. So I've got two. I'm gonna give one to Bill and one to Sean. So Bill, I loved our back and forth with the taxes. That was fun. And I want to give one to Sean for including your background into your roleplay. Like, not just like Mist's background, but like literally like the mechanical piece of your background. I feel like that's something that a lot of people overlook and don't use. And that was really cool to see you use that.
Absolutely agree.
Thank you.
And from me, I'm going to go in reverse order. Derek, I absolutely loved the leaning into the naivete like the taxes, the horse, all of that was beautiful. And then that moment with Sandy with the hands and the way you took that and worked with it in the moment and finding something pretty out of it. This thing that is kind of dark was beautiful, and I loved it. Bill, the treats, finally getting to do those a little bit at the beginning was awesome. Jubei Cooks is always like, and I get messages from people asking what Jubei's going to cook. So it is awesome, and I love the care and description you put into that. Selu, the sense of exploration and newness never ceases for Selu, and it's beautiful, and I love it. Like, I half expected you to lick the tree. Like, that's where we were at with it. You were like, that's where I thought we were going.
Yeah.
Patrick, seeing your character almost step up into I don't want to call it a leading role, but a more forceful role in the herb shop was gorgeous. And then this, like, there's all these things, I can't afford this. And then putting them all back, that giddy, I want all these things, oh crap. It was gorgeous.
The not wanting to be in debt moment was like my number 2 on the list, for sure.
Very insightful.
And Sean, as the group approached civilization, Mist rose. Like, to go back to your moon reference, like Mist was waxing. It's really interesting. I will find it interesting when the group leaves civilization, how that evolves and changes again. It's such a cool dynamic.
Thank you.
And my GM inspiration this week is actually going to go to Derek for the roleplay with Sandy and the roleplay with Jubei and the combat with the horse.
Thank you, man.
So mark yourself an inspiration point. Anybody who hung on with us or is watching this later, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks so much.
We'll be back Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Breakfast and Dragons as we explore a much darker world and see
a cuter logo.
Yeah, with a cuter logo. Yeah, absolutely. While we see if the great old ones eat us. So it'll be great. Thank you so much.
It's up in the air.
True story.
Cthulhu love you.
Thanks, everybody.